This week tested my patience and my discipline. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, I came to this chart looking for my setup. The three setup I saw, none of them triggered me. But regardless, I stick to my plan. I stick to my trading rules. I stick to my system. And at the end of the week, I was not able to take any trade. I'm going to show you guys what happened this week. But before that, last week, I took a US oil sell last week, and I was holding that trade throughout the weekend. I showed you guys the trade here. So that US oil trade hit my TP. When market opened on Sunday, just few hours after the market opened, the trade hit TP, and that trade was 1:4 risk to reward. So that was the only trade recorded in my account this week. Apart from that, there was no trade. But this week I spotted 3 good setup. The only problem is that the trade did not trigger me, but they were good setup. So without wasting much of your time, let's just dive into the chart so I can show you guys the setups. But before we do that, if it's your first time coming across this my YouTube channel, please do well to like and subscribe. Let me start from gold. Okay, let me start from gold. Gold, I saw my first setup, was it on Tuesday? Yeah, on Tuesday. So this was the first setup. This was the first setup, this POI here. This was the setup. This should be a sell. So this is it. This trade was almost 1:8 risk to reward, 1:7. But the first time I took that trade, I think it was 1:8 risk to reward. So this was my target. But after market created this liquidity here, pullback, I was hoping for this level here. See this little reaction that happened here, this little reaction here. I was hoping for this demand to be able to push this market up to this POI before the drop. But you can see how it gave just little reaction and then the demand failed. So after this demand failed, I said there's no need. I will be waiting for another good supply from this failed demand to catch another sell. So this was on Tuesday. Then was it on Thursday or Wednesday? I think this was on this particular one was on Friday. I think this is not Sunday. Okay, on Thursday, I think I had a setup. Wednesday on US 30. This is US 30. I had this setup on US 30, but US 30 played around, and before it gets to this my POI, it was already 9 o'clock, and 7:30 I've already closed all my pending order. If I set any pending order, once it's 7 o'clock, latest 7:30, closed everything. The only reason it's going to still be on is if I forget that setup. If I forget the pending order, that is the only reason why it might be still active. So before this trade come to this POI, I've already closed my pending order. So triggered though, push up and then reverse. So after this market, what this market did here, I spotted another you can see this liquidity here that was taken. Our market tapped into this fair value gap, you can see here, and you can see that there was a demand that failed from here. So market just tapped into that. Immediately I see this reaction from here, I know that price is coming for this low that triggered at my POI. I know that price is coming for this low, and it might drop more to even take out all this low, because we still have valid POI below that might push price to the upside. So this is it. This is what I saw on US 30 on Wednesday. Then on Friday, I saw this setup on NAS 100. This one that did not trigger. As I said, depending order, price did play around and then push up. Was not able to trigger. And then that same Friday, I also have a setup on gold. Yeah, on gold, which was this one. Set depending order. This one I set depending order, but it triggered from trading view, but it did not trigger from my match trade. I can see how I cancelled that trade. This is the trade. I cancelled it. So, and this is order pending order that I set that did not trigger. I cancelled all of that. This is the first trade on gold. The first setup I saw for the week did not trigger, which I also cancelled this first one. So this one did not trigger me. So that is it. This is the setups I saw for this week. So this is 1, 2, then 3. The NAS 100 setup made it 4. And the NAS 100, yeah, this one made it 4. So US oil did not give me any setup this week. I'm still waiting for this high to be cleared on US oil. And before I do anything, I want to see this high taking out. This gap here filled. Market might tap into this supply or not, because the last sell I had was from this POI. So market might tap into this supply or not, but at least I want this liquidity here to be taken out and this gap filled before anything. Apart from that, if market react from any other place and start giving me my sell in 30, I might still join the sell to take out this sell side liquidity. So this is everything that happened this week. You can see it. Then last week, let me go to my closed trade so I can show you guys. This is the US oil. You can see this is on 14th, which was on Monday. If I'm correct, so you can see that the trade was 1:4 risk to reward. Now this is my account. Like I showed you guys last week, the account was sitting at $4,592, which was approximately 2% left to blow the account. But now you can see this account is sitting at 4,791, approximately 4,800, which means I'm down 4%. So if I could have another win, I think this account will be back to break even. So this is it. There was no trade for me this week. All the setup I spotted this week, none of them triggered me. So this is all that happened this week. To be honest, it was hard for me to stay from Monday to Friday without taking a setup. But the thing is, I've made up my mind that there is no need. Sometimes the best trade is not taking any trade at all. I did see my setup. No matter how I look at it, even from the starting of the week, from Monday, looking at how the setup, the chart are, I've already, sensed it that there might not be a good setup for me this week. But starting from Wednesday, Thursday, I started seeing some movements on NAS 100 and gold, and I was, convinced that there might be a good setup this week, but which there was, there was a good setup, but they were not able to trigger me. All this setup you see, if any of them had triggered me, it would have been a very good trade. Like this good setup, the last one, which is still running now. If I had taken that, if that trade has triggered me, I will still be on that trade now, and there will be no need to panic, because by now I I will be at break even. I should break even by now, because it's weekend. I had to break even, and just leave it to see what happened at the opening of the markets. But it's okay, not taking a trade in a week is nothing compared to taking a trade and losing that trade. It's better to just wait for your setup. Take that setup that that if I take this setup will count. There will be no regrets. If you don't see your setup, just sit with your hand tight. Sit tight. There will always be a better setup. And going into this new week, I'm still going to repeat this same style, this same system. I'm still going to follow my rules. I'm not going to force myself to take any setup. It's not advisable. That is what has been, dealing with me all these years. So there's no need to force my system. There's no need to force a setup. If I don't see any setup, I will just sit last. I can even sit like this for a month. I don't care. I just want every single trade I take to count. And that is where I am working at now. So that will be all for this week. And again, if it's your first time coming across this YouTube channel, please do what you like and subscribe. And I will catch you guys next week. Peace.